This $5 billion US Navy destroyer had to slow down due to engine failure and was forced to move forward slowly using 3 parachutes. It all started 7 months ago, when a deadly virus began spreading in Egypt and quickly swept across the globe. There was no cure once someone got infected. 2 biologists found samples of the virus in seabirds from the Arctic, which gave hope for a possible vaccine. The real mission of the destroyer was to protect these 2 scientists. Soon after, the president called via video, but on the screen sat the First Lady instead. To ease the captain's doubts, the First Lady explained that both the president and vice president had died from the virus, and the remaining officials were hiding in bunkers. The destroyer was the only safe haven left, and the 2 scientists were humanity's last hope. Faced with this devastating news, the captain decided to inform the entire crew and head to a coastal US biolab, planning to return only after the vaccine was ready. But while crossing the European coast, a nuclear warhead was detected. The resulting EMP shut down the ship's systems, causing a complete power failure. To keep the virus sample below -5 degrees, they had to restart the engine. They managed to restart it against the odds, and quickly fled the radiation zone, only to come across an Italian cargo ship. Soldiers boarded it in protective gear, but found no survivors on board. They took all the food from the ship, and returned to the destroyer at once. After sailing for another week, they finally reached the US coast, but they couldn't reach the First Lady anymore. The captain realized she might have been infected too. Going back now would be a death sentence. In the end, the captain made a choice not to return until the vaccine was ready. This meant the ship now faced food and fuel shortages. They kept drifting at sea for another 7 days. Over 200 soldiers had gone without water for 2 days. Many had collapsed from dehydration. They sent out repeated distress calls, but no one responded. Their remaining water would only last 1 more day. To solve the water crisis, soldiers distilled canned beer and urine in a container to get drinkable water. But it was only a temporary fix. Since the ship's engine lacked a water cooling system, it could only run for 1 hour, then had to cool down for 5 hours. The nearest island was still 7 days away. Unfortunately, the fuse blew again, leaving the lab without power and disabling the vaccine's cooling system. If the temperature rose above 41 degrees, the vaccine would be ruined. But the captain quickly thought of a solution. He sealed the vaccine inside a waterproof box and sank it 500 meters underwater to keep it below the danger temperature. 2 more days passed like this, and the ship had no water left. Just when everyone had lost hope, a soldier spotted 3 seabirds flying toward them. Where there are birds, there's land nearby. Soon they saw a small island ahead. The captain ordered full speed toward the island, but once they landed fully armed, they were met with a surprise. A horde of infected came rushing at them. It was clear the island had also been hit by the virus. The captain had to retreat and look for another spot. But another surprise was waiting. One of the men stepped on a bear trap. Then a group of armed men appeared. The captain and his team were disarmed and brought to the leader of the group. The captain introduced himself right away and warned that he had a destroyer waiting offshore that could flatten the entire island. But the armed men weren't intimidated at all. Instead, they offered the captain a big meal. After the feast, they demanded the captain surrender the hazmat suits to leave. The captain had no choice but to comply, and led his men away. But as they were leaving by boat, one soldier couldn't let it go. So they returned under the cover of night. They overpowered the guards, and captured the group's leader alive. That's how they got the fresh water and supplies back to the ship.